You're listening to episode 71 of Fresh Floppies.
Fresh Floppies!
I was trying to be real sweet and low, but you ruined it. So
I went sweet and high, baby.
Or like, what's sour and high?
Yeah.
Ew.
Let's go get out in the street. Somebody's gotta. Let's get the stars to align. Power labs of slaughter.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Geek Nation? You're currently listening to Fresh Floppies. Fresh Floppies is, I'll tell you what, a show wherein Noel and I, Ned Ryerson, talk about the comics that come out Wednesday. New book day, but sans spoilers so that you, the listener / reader, can go into your comic shop well armed with some of our useless opinions.
Only knowledge, nothing physical. Don't arm yourself with anything physical when you're buying it. Just
arm yourself with a friendly handshake and a smile.
and finances.
Oh, and yeah. If you're coming to my shop, bring your finances. I need
just your whole portfolio.
Yeah, that's right.
We do take equity. Ned Ryerson.
Yes, how can I help you?
What's that from again?
Oh, it's from Groundhog Day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ned.
He showed up in something recently.
The actor.
Yeah.
Stephen
Tobolowsky. Oh,
yeah.
He showed up. Oh, I'm watching this show. Speaking of Tobolowsky, it's a show called I forgot the name of it. No one wants this.
Oh,
on
yeah,
Netflix.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that show.
It is delightful.
I'm
Adam
sure
Brody and what's her name? I love her so much.
Kristen Bell.
They are really great together. Anyway, comics. Nightwing came out this week, number 118. Perfect jumping on point. It's the last issue of Tom Taylor's run on Nightwing.
Yes.
And this is by Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo, and this font sucks. Felipe, Adriano Lucas, Wes Abbott.
Ciao.
Felipe. Oh, CAIO.
Mm-hmm.
So, Noel.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor has been writing this for years.
Yeah, you know what? While you talk about the book, I will actually see where he started, because that was definitely a turning point for Nightwing.
It absolutely, especially for me specifically. There was the period there where he gets shot in the head and he becomes Rick Grayson, and I absolutely did not care about that. I thought the idea was solid, but the execution just left me cold and bored, so I jumped off. And then Tom Taylor jumped on, and from Jump,
78.
From Leap.
Issue 78.
Leaping into the light. It has been just a solid comic book.
So this is my rough math. This has been 40 issues.
Wow.
Issue 78, and this is 118.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. Very nice.
So I tell people at the shop, if you're looking for just solid month-to-month comic booking, this is your go-to. It's not big and crazy and big events and all this sort. It's just really solid Nightwing, Dick Grayson, Babs, Bitewing. He's got a dog called Bitewing.
Yeah, well,
awesome.
What I like the most about this run, because this is just as much a retrospective on the whole run as this last issue. What I liked the most about this is that there's always been, not always on the page, but a conceit or an understanding that Nightwing is the light version of Batman.
Yeah.
They both have the same mission, yet they would approach it completely differently. And this run set up Dick with the freedom and resources to actually put that into play. So he's awarded tons and tons of money, and he has decided to take on Bloodhaven as his Gotham and do it completely differently than Batman.
Yeah.
Like he supports infrastructure and creates safe havens and affordable housing.
Dude,
like
he puts Batman to shame.
He becomes the happy socialist superhero, and it's
what a comic.
Absolutely. I know what a comic. It's absolutely awesome. It's just really, really well done. And with that comes its own problems. And it's also like a very earnest book. Like it's very emotionally intelligent.
Yes.
In this run of 40 issues, we've had at least like 4 really solid father-son moments that are just heart-crushingly amazing.
Yeah. Even in here, issue.
Yeah. And this evolution of Batman and Nightwing is just so fun and awesome to see. Like Bruce literally recognizes like, oh yeah, you're better at this than me.
Yeah,
You're doing this. I can't change, but
as every parent wants for their child, he is sort of exceeding.
yes, the everything that's what is it? You took the best of me and you made it better, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So good. This book is so good.
I cannot let this go by without talking about Bruno Redondo and his covers and his interior layouts and just his facial acting. There are, you're talking about there are several issues in here that deal with father-son. There are also several issues in this run that are just focused on being a different type of comic book.
This run messes with format.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one issue that's a single panel.
It's a single panel all the way
whole
through.
book.
If you lay it side by side, it's just Nightwing. Those old Spider-Man things where he's flipping through the city and you see the after effects.
For people that aren't as Marvel brained or pilled as us, it's also the old Family Circus cartoons.
God, yes.
Yeah, it's like the dotted lines of where the little boy goes, the whole thing.
And then there was one it was all first person of Nightwing.
Yeah,
just great.
All first person perspective. This is a banner book. I know that there's people that complain about it for stuff that has nothing to do with what's in the book, and it wasn't it ableism because Babs is no longer in a chair.
Yeah, but that's not his fault.
I know it happened 15 years ago.
Yeah, like when the New 52 happened.
Yeah,
kids ask your grandparents.
So it was arguments I didn't really understand so much as I mean they're valid concerns or criticisms about the character of Babs, but it's also like. So, would you be happy if Tom Taylor put her in a chair?
Back in a chair?
Is that his job? Okay, whatever. Either way, this run is fantastic. I think it's going to be collected in omnibus early next year.
I will buy the shit out of that.
Really wonderful run. And I feel bad for whoever is taking over.
Right?
Next. I think it's Dan Waters and Dexter Soy.
Oh, cool,
yeah,
cool.
Man. Nightwing 118. It's like 7 or 8 trades or an omnibus or all the issues are available. This book is fantastic. Everyone should read it.
Yeah.
Even if you didn't give a crap about Dick Grayson.
I don't think you have to.
No. It's just a wonderful book.
Yeah. Speaking of Dick.
I had the opportunity to read Batman and Robin Year 1 today.
I'm so mad at myself because we picked the books that we were going to talk about and I couldn't get to all of them. But one thing was on my mind. I was like, I am 100% going to read Batman and Robin Year 1. And then I forgot.
Plotted by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee, with script by Mark Waid and art by Chris Samnee. So if anybody isn't aware of this dynamic duo of writer and artist, Chris Samnee and Mark Waid have a way of constructing books that is not typical. It's not like full script and then Samnee comes in and makes the art. It's like Marvel style. Yeah, they do everything together.
Cool.
Yeah, and it like outlines, and then Chris Samnee goes to town, and Mark Waid's like, oh yeah, I can put dialogue there and take care of it. It's very they are very much like symbiotic. That's just how Chris Samnee rolls too. Like I think he did the same thing with Kirkman. He's just like, just tell me where these characters are going, and I got it.
Yeah, I did hear that.
But every time Samnee's on a book, I'm in. Instant buy. Every time Mark Waid's and Samnee's on a book, I'm counting the days.
Yeah.
And it's already prepaid.
This is good.
More of the same. Honestly, it is. It's a background story. It's a year 1 of, I think it's 3 weeks after Dick Grayson becomes a ward of Bruce, and he is deciding to train him, and they go out on their first mission. It is adorable, but it's also a little dark. The art is absolutely phenomenal.
Look at that.
Yeah, like the underlit skyscapes kind of. And they come up against Two-Face and a larger threat looming in the background. This is a 12-issue maxi series.
Wonderful. Good news.
Is just so... It's so fun. Everything about this is wonderful. This is absolutely an everybody should and could read this book. Yeah.
So Mark Waid he jumped back onto my radar. He's been around for decades. And he jumped back on my radar with, I think, Batman and Robin World's Finest, which has been...
No, Batman and Superman.
What did I say?
Robin.
Oh, Batman and Superman World's Finest. Thank you. Yeah. Which is a baller book. And then they did Teen Titans.
World's Finest.
Yeah. And you would expect this to be Batman and Robin World's Finest because that's just been what they've been doing. But I guess Year 1 is definitely a bigger... name.
I don't know. Bigger draw. It also could not. It also may not be in continuity for all we know. Like
well, none of the World's Finest stuff is.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a recent past. It's
Okay.
all supposed to be recent past, including the Teen Titans one.
I guess I mean it's not current continuity.
No. It's just
all
in continuity and
previous,
like
Look back.
the malleable 5 years later. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this may not be for all we
gotcha.
know. Like
Okay.
it's just a different imprint. But yeah, no, it's a wonderful book. It's absolutely even the title treatment is fantastic. This book is fantastic.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that classic look with like the bat
Yeah, this is
silhouette.
if you're arming yourself to go into the shop this weekend and you have a light stack, you didn't know about this book, pick it up
Get it.
immediately. This is
Also,
wonderful.
get their Daredevil run as well.
Oh, I mean, that's
I'm just saying, like anything they do together. Their Black Widow run.
the Black
12
Widow
issues.
is much more digestible. That's only 12 issues and all clocked together.
Yeah.
They didn't become a team on Daredevil until like 30 issues in.
Right. It started with
It started with Marcos Martin and Pablo.
Javier Rodriguez. Yeah.
No, Rivera.
Oh, Pablo. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're all the same artist.
Yeah,
Javier Rodriguez,
very
Marcos
similar
Martin, and Pablo
vibes.
Rivera.
Yeah.
They all come from the same school of. Isn't
Awesome.
that pretty?
Yeah.
Another book that came out today that I didn't get a chance to read.
I'll tell you what it was. It was Ginny Sparks from the Black Label of DC. This is book 3 by Tom King and Jeff Spokes.
Beautiful.
Beautiful looking book. Except he does the Kevin Nowlin thing of like way too long torso / crotch area on Superman.
It's the
Like,
trunks.
he's got the trunks, but his trunks are like like 3 foot tall.
It's a trick of the eye, I tell you.
There are people on the internet who hate Tom King. And
With
they
the passion.
Specifically hate this book because I guess it invokes 9/11.
It doesn't. I don't guess it. Like the second issue
No, I mean,
explicitly.
I guess that's why they hate him.
Oh no!
specifically for this book.
Oh man, I see some awesome stuff online about the hate for Tom King. Like the very first page of this issue is what is this in Afghanistan, Kandahar,
Yeah,
or something like that.
Baghdad,
Thank you.
2004.
Which he was there in 2004 because he is a former member of the CIA.
Yeah,
Everybody or a lot of people complained like, "Oh, it's so fucking boring," and I wish he would just go to therapy instead of deal with his war criminality through comics.
Yeah.
He's a war criminal apparently because he was in the military during post 9/11.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what everybody hates about it. Like he sees the same story over and over again, and he should just go to therapy instead of ruin comics.
I haven't. That is not my opinion.
You have a better algorithm than I do.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not my opinion
Also,
whatsoever.
here's the thing. Quick side note. I don't go on the internet much anymore because I've just decided to focus all my attention on Marvel Snap, the iPhone game. So instead of going on and like getting angry at people online, I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and relax and play this card game on my phone.
I think the criticism, I think it's a valid criticism, but I think it's also a very bad faith criticism. The fact that any writer or artist can't
pull
from their own life experience
write what they know
in order to juxtapose it against other genre is the most limiting get out of my sandbox bullshit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like you cannot like it, but to think that somebody shouldn't have the freedom to express themselves through story creatively is fucking stupid.
I also never understand the
fucking stupid.
Get out of comics, brother. Don't buy it. Don't read it. He's not forcing you to do any of this.
Basically,
just ignore the book.
So what did you think of this issue?
One of the other complaints that I've seen from Tom King, and that I have pitched in with occasionally, is that he writes characters a little off of maybe what they should sound like or what I feel like they should sound like.
Yeah.
A la Wally West.
Oh, that was you know what? Of everything that I've read of his, that is the only real black spot. That like Heroes in Crisis was so
rough.
oddly off the mark. Because other things that I've read of his, I think I've read everything at this point. Other things we've read, it's like, oh, that's a little weird, but I get what he's trying to do over here, so that person has to sound like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Like you could see his puzzle pieces connecting. Heroes in Crisis just feels so off.
Absolutely.
And I need to I really need to reread it like 5 years later.
It's a shame because the art's nice.
The art's wonderful.
So
Anyway.
in this issue specifically, and I understand what he's doing here, he's taking Jenny Sparks, who is a very low, a street level, for lack of a better term, character who just curses up a storm. That can get a little boring. Like every other word bubble has one of those like, I'm not saying fuck, but I am saying fuck kind of things in it. And so all of the superheroes in this are written in a heightened manner.
Yep.
Especially Wonder Woman, which is funny because he's writing Wonder Woman and she doesn't do it there. So he's clearly doing a thing.
Yeah, it's all a different tone.
Yeah. But there is a wonderful test that Jenny Sparks is putting Superman through where they're meeting in Baghdad. Is that what I said?
Yep.
And he's like, why are we meeting? Why are we meeting here? We don't have to meet here. Do we have to meet here? Can we go somewhere else? And Superman's really uncomfortable. And you're like, why is he so uncomfortable? And then you find out why he doesn't want to be there, what she has not put into play, but has set him up for. And it's kind of an interesting morality question for Superman, who doesn't want to interfere with politics, but he wants to save people. So I thought that was really cool. And then you've got the thing that's going on in the bar with Captain Atom.
Yeah, that was another larger complaint with this book so far, that Captain Atom is basically written as Dr. Manhattan.
Yes, 100%.
But
even more insane.
Dr. Manhattan was a
pastiche of
Captain Atom. Yeah. So I get, this is very much this is Black Label. This is what Black Label is for. It is not current continuity. It is outside the boundaries of how you expect these characters to always be, and all things are fair game.
And I definitely don't think it's boring.
No, I wouldn't call it.
Really
the first issue, I didn't get a chance to read this one yet, but the first issue was, it took a bit to kind of get in a groove. It was very much like, I'm not going to tell you anything. The second issue was phenomenal. Like her waking up in the 21st century. Wild. Absolutely wild. And I can't wait to read this. But there were so many other things to read.
And what'd you
do next? One of them was another Tom King book, was Wonder Woman 14. This is the all-in issue of Wonder Woman 14, the new jumping on point. It's the new DC initiative where it's a start of a new story arc, a new jumping on point, post all in
one shot
number
special.
One.
Yeah.
Absolute power.
2 weeks ago.
So in the first 2 pages, main character gets killed. And then we go. This is a timey-wimey book in so much as how it's presented. So the whole thing at DC right now is, I think all these all-in books are supposed to be like 52 days later.
Okay.
If you're like,
I remember one of them was,
Yeah, all of them are kind of in that framework of it's either 52 days later, or they'll tell you how many days after it was, like after Absolute Power. So this book starts at day 50 and then jumps back and forth between day 27, day 5, day 2, day 15, day 51. Like it
do you find that works?
It really does in this instance. It is a wonderful story. The art. Oh, sorry, it's Tom King and Daniel Sampere, who has been the main artist for this book.
Yeah.
Usually there's a backup story for these, like a nice little Trinity backup story.
Yeah, Wonder Girl. Oh yeah, Trinity. I'm sorry, Trinity.
This is just an oversized, just them chronicling 52 horrific days in Wonder Woman's life, and it's masterful.
Is it like a one-shot kind of thing? Or is it the start of a story?
It's the start of a story. We basically get the origin of Lizzie. Trinity.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Elizabeth.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I haven't been reading those backups.
Oh, no?
Nah.
They're so good.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude.
The art kind of threw me off.
Belen Ortega? Yeah. How dare you?
Sorry.
She's wonderful. They're wonderful. Yeah, this book is fantastic.
Great.
It's someone dies, someone lives. Diana may or may not traverse through hell in order to find out. It's this is wonderful. This is so good. This whole run has been very wonderful.
So I have not finished the first storyline. I am several issues behind.
Oh, like 10 issues behind.
Maybe. I'm sorry. Did they ever wrap up the thing with the King of Lies, whatever his name was?
No, that ends with I think 20. He said.
Oh, okay. So
this
then,
is 14.
I'm like maybe 3 issues behind.
Okay.
Can I just jump ahead?
No.
I got to read the whole thing. Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
This is very much an ongoing. Like it pieces like bricks. I don't think this is a very good jumping on point.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Am I next?
Yeah.
So from Marvel, Crypt of Shadows, which is basically a Halloween book, by oh my God, let's see. La 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 la. Steve Orlando, Claire Rowe, Chris Condon.
Keep going.
Benjamin Percy, a bunch of names I can't pronounce. Jason Liu, Carlos Magno, Raphael Ienco, Jibril Morissette Fan.
Some of those are great names.
1, 2, 3, 4 different stories in this Crypt of Shadows dealing with basically the darker themed heroes / anti-heroes of the Marvel Universe. Lady Harkness, of course. Agatha shows up, of course, because, you know.
Hot Harkness.
Yeah. She is. I didn't know Harkness was so hot.
Yeah, they de-aged her in the last Midnight Suns miniseries.
And she's got like the cool like rogue streak in the front. My goodness. Anyway.
They had to make her look a little bit more like Catherine Hahn.
If you're looking for a spooky-ish Marvel one-shot.
If you're looking for nightmares. If you're looking to not sleep.
Because it's Halloween times, you could do that. You could do this. I don't think it is a must-buy. I don't... but you don't have to.
Did any of the stories jump out?
There was a neat one with Man-Thing.
Who wrote that one? Is that Lou or Percy?
This was a secret. This was, let's see, The Green Tide by Benjamin Percy and Raphael Yanko.
I like Benjamin Percy.
And then there's a neat Werewolf by Night against...
That's Jason Liu. He's been doing the Werewolf by Night Red Band book.
Oh, yeah? Did you read it?
Nope.
Okay. This is Werewolf by Night versus Craven, the Hunter.
Oh, cool.
Neat idea, right?
Yeah, that's a neat idea.
This is fine if you're looking for some slightly darker Marvel books. That's really kind of all I have to say about it. Listen, here's who's in it. Namor, Craven the Hunter, Man-Thing, Werewolf by Night, Vision, Scarlet Witch, Blade, and Harkness.
Nice. So, instant buy. I'm gonna take over.
Do it.
Can you while I talk about this, can you look up how many issues of Ice Cream Man are out now?
Okay.
So a prestige format edition of Ice Cream Man came out this week. This is a book. If anybody doesn't know, Ice Cream Man is a ongoing series of short stories by W. Maxwell Prince, and I believe it's the same artist every issue. Martin Morazzo, but somebody can correct me on that. But each is a separate little morality play or a Tales from the Crypt style little horror story that has to do with very vaguely with the Ice Cream Man.
Is he kind of like, I read the first issue and I want to say he's kind of like Pennywise the Clown from It.
I don't know.
He takes different forms.
Sure.
Like whatever your fear is.
Sure.
And everyone fears Ice Cream Men.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like, I don't know if he is a benevolent or malicious figure so much as this like watcher style. Like, I don't think he's the aggressor.
Keeper?
He's like not the aggressor. He's just there to witness.
Oh, okay.
Often, right? And then even the ones that don't have anything to do with him, he's just kind of there to witness, and or it's loosely related to the ice cream company or the dairy company that he serves ice cream for. So like this is a Holt Dairy. But this is a collection of issues 39 and 40, which was called Decompression and a Wreck. It's a 2-issue storyline, which is different for this because I guess every issue is its own short story. Over 2 issues, it's a single 5-second car wreck. So the first issue, we have the family that's in the car. And it's the same 5 seconds over and over again, and we kind of clock into each character in the car and what they're thinking, but the narrator is above them talking about decompression. So like this is so wild. It's like it's a single shot of the car being crashed or crushed, and they're telling you what decompression means, and then we pan into a comic book that's flying through the air, and then it shows you. So decompression is kind of like taking 5 panels to show a plane landing. That's really like 1 second, but we slow down to like it teaches you what decompression is, and then it pulls back out and then tells you like just like how in the millisecond between smacking his face into the steering wheel he thinks about this, like and it just goes back and forth and back and forth.
It sounds brutal.
It's incredibly brutal.
Yeah.
Especially because there's kids in the car. And then the second issue of this arc, and like what the kids experience in those seconds because they don't have lives to reflect, like long lives to reflect on, it's freaking wild.
Okay.
Not bad, but wild.
Yeah.
And then the second issue of this arc talks about those in the Holt delivery truck that are the other side of the crash.
Oh my God. Great.
And what they're going through, and the relationship between these two long truck drivers and their lives and their dreams and how it all transpired and why, and then when we this is wild. So
I knew when this was coming out that this is one of those things where either the creators or Image was like, this is a special thing. It came out it was 2 issues, but it is so special that we need to recollect it in a giant size thing just because we think that it deserves it.
And one of the main characters of these 2 arcs is an aspiring writer, short story writer, and we find out during the crash that he was just told that they're being published in the New Yorker. And then the end of the issue is his actual article in the New Yorker.
Oh, that's cool.
Which does kind of address or get directed back to the car crash. This is wild.
Great.
This is absolutely wild.
It sounds great.
It's like 50 pages, 60 pages.
How much?
$7.99.
Oh, great.
This was absolutely wonderful.
I'm going to read this.
It keeps reminding me that I need to get into Ice Cream Man.
I have a couple of customers who all they have is Ice Cream Man. That's it.
It's a really easy book to just kind of fall into, I think.
Whereas, I read an issue and I was like, I figured it would be a mini-series, but now it's almost 50 issues later, and I'm like, how is it still going?
Just short stories.
Yeah. And they did another one called Ha Ha.
That was just 5 issues.
Mini-series, yeah.
And they also did Swan Song.
Oh, I don't know.
All of them are miniseries. All of them are short story formats. Ha Ha it has to do with clowns.
Yeah.
Every single book is a different story. Swan Song was the last minutes of someone's life.
Oh, wow.
And then each one was a different.
Who's writing this?
W. Maxwell Prince.
Do I know him from somewhere else? Is he doing something else?
Nothing big too or wild. It's mostly this stuff, and then he writes other things.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So Vicarious came out this week by Ryan Parrott, Eleonora Carlini, and Mattia Iacono. Do you have the same cover I do?
Yeah.
Look at that cover.
It's Dan Panosian, man.
What a cover! I know Dan Panosian, and this is next level Dan. This is not his normal stuff. This
jam.
Is not his normal jam. So Vicarious is a new series from Boom Studios that deals with... What was that shit? What was that movie? There was a movie back in the late 90s.
Strange Days.
That's the one! Yeah. Strange Days. Where basically you can experience someone else's life.
But that wasn't in real time. This is in real time.
That was you can experience their death, right?
No. They just record. They record their thoughts and feelings, and then you can watch the playback.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is similar to that, except you don't get any of their thoughts or feelings, quote unquote, emotional feelings. You can feel all the physicality, right?
Yeah, this is basically the same thing as that, except that was a replay. That was a recorded replay, and it's never in real time. This is in real time. In real time, you are directly jacked into this person's perspective.
You can talk to them.
You can talk to them, but you can't control anything. You are just a passenger. Yeah.
So basically, we got this guy who wants to be in this world. It's kind of like prostitution. It's looked at as a form of prostitution. And the people who engage in it can get beat up because, people frown on it a little bit. And it's a little illegal. You can have one. It's just illegal to use it the way they're using it. And then there is a big reveal at the end.
Yeah.
That I was like, what? Oh, okay.
So when I finally understood the reveal, it's cool. But I don't think the art did any service to the reveal itself. It is it's very anime inspired, kind of colorful, very exaggerated facial expressions kind of art, and then the story itself is a little bit of a dark sci-fi allegory. Yeah. And those two things don't really comport with one another in my brain. This needed to be a little bit more atmospheric, especially when we get to the reveal at the end where it's like, oh, that's fucked up and cool. Yeah. But everything else is a little not twee, but I don't know. I didn't love the art. I liked the story, but I didn't love the art.
The art didn't bother me, but I don't think it's in service of the story as much as
that's
maybe
a better
I would
way of
want
putting
it.
It's not really art that's in service of the story, especially. So we have a scene early on in his apartment that is kind of called back to the reveal at the end, and it's like I had to go back and be like, oh wait, what's his name? What? Oh, oh, okay, yeah, cool. It was. that smack in the face wasn't nearly as hard as it could be because I think the tone of the art is a little. Yeah, it didn't work for me. Yeah,
light. Yeah,
but it doesn't have to be broody. It just isn't.
The story's neat.
The story's very
the
neat.
story. Yeah.
Very, very neat.
It's definitely, if you're looking for like an indie book to jump on this week, I think Vicarious is a good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think
option.
The problems I have with the art are not about its effectiveness, or no, it is about its effectiveness, but it's more about its style. The actual art itself, though, it's incredibly competent. The panel layout is awesome. I had no questions about the action and where to put my eye and all that stuff. It's incredibly serviceable.
Yeah.
It's just a style that, to me, revealed itself to be off the mark when I got the full issue.
Yeah.
Like going through it was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then it just didn't comport. Yeah.
Good issue. We're forgetting. This is pretty fresh.
Have we talked about anything that's not fresh today? Everything's been
Nightwing was fresh AF. Batman and Robin,
fresh AF.
fresh AF. Jenny Smarks, pretty fresh. Crypt of Shadows,
Fresh enough.
fresh enough. Barely fresh.
Ice Cream Man
Crypt of
was
Shadows.
fresh AF. And something else that's fresh, we'll end with, is Radiant Black,
I've heard of it.
part issue 30 and issue 30.5.
So, just a 30-second rundown of the point issues. What's going on?
So at around issue 24, the big Catalyst War started. There's two characters that are sharing the mantle of Radiant Black, and the books, Marshall and Nathan. The books verge at issue 24 and diverge at issue 24, and then one tract is if Nathan was in charge, and the other tract is if Marshall was in charge.
Yeah.
But then they kind of dovetail into each other again, and these last two parts are just one big 2-issue finale.
Oh, okay.
This book is awesome. It continues to be awesome, but the delays that have happened in the last 11 issues, like this used to be a monthly book, but then it became a bi-monthly book because it was two issues at the same time.
Released at the
but
same,
then that was late, and it was like 3-4 months in between. This is a wildly complicated plot line.
Yeah, it sounds it.
And I am locked in, and it took me a while to understand what the fuck was going on.
Okay.
And I think that won't be a problem for trade readers.
Depending on how they put it in trade.
Oh, they're going to put it exactly how it's printed.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Catalyst War will be 2 trade paperbacks.
I wasn't sure if it'd be like one trade paperback of Marshall, one trade paperback of Nathan.
No, they basically said this is the preferred reading order, even though it goes back and forth.
Great. Okay, cool.
Because they bounce off each other and then they dovetail into each other, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're seeing in the early issues of it, you're seeing like the whole thing is that this race / whatever comes down to test Earth with the Radiants, and there's 3 trials. So like the first 3 issues of it, the first 6 issues of it, you're seeing the trials and how Nathan would deal with it and how Marshall would deal with it, and then it just kind of gets worse from there. The finale was great. The book is going on a large break after this. It's not over.
Imagine.
This is a giant ending for everything that was set up in issue 1.
Wow.
This is a big. I'm done.
It's a catalyst.
Well, that would be the start.
Damn it! You're right.
Yeah.
Well, it might be. It's still good to be the start.
Sure.
Moving forward.
Sure. It was a 30. It was a 31 or. No, it was more than that. It was like 36 issue start.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ends pretty definitively with now there's only one Radiant Black, and I won't tell you who.
Good.
Because that was based off a vote.
Oh, like an online vote.
Yeah.
A real life. Very
Yeah.
cool. I like that sort of shit.
So there's a one Radiant Black, and then it just straight up says he'll return in February 2025.
So this, for anyone who doesn't know Radiant Black, people come into the shop, and I tell them, if you like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers plus Peter Parker plus Invincible, that's sort of what this book is. Except, Invincible was pretty original.
Is that a list that is malleable, or
Yes.
is it like not by weight? Because I would say it's.
I would just say in the 3 things.
Invincible, Spider-Man, Invincible, and then Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because the Power Rangers of it all is actually quite small. But go on. Yeah.
But yeah, if you're into those things, and it's also one of those books that From Jump has done new and interesting things with either the publishing, the layouts, the storyline.
They mess with the format for sure.
Yeah.
There's the all-encompassing story. There's what?
I'm sorry. There was a YouTube video cartoon that you scan and it takes you to another thing that they're referencing in the comic book.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
There's a Twitter account. They've done podcasts. There's issues. There's issues that are done in, not unlike when we were talking about Nightwing. There's issues in here that were done as a full scroll. Like there's one character that could see multiple timelines. There was an issue where the top of the page was one continuous timeline and the bottom of the page was one continuous timeline, and you're seeing both of them at the same time, so you could read the book in 4 different ways, where you can either read them up and down or left to right, or actually there was one version of it where it laid out to like 24 long.
Wait, they printed that?
Special printed, but not.
Whoa, I didn't
stores,
see that. That's
where you
not
could literally
for
just
stores. I see.
Like you had to get on the website.
Ah, okay.
But you could literally read it across all the way for. I think it was the character of Wendell who could see time.
That's cool.
They're messing with the format in really fun ways. So yeah, the idea that like, oh, we're gonna double ship for this whole arc and make it a 12-issue thing because we can play with time. Awesome.
I've been a sucker for that for a long time. Like, there was a movie called Sliding Doors.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember a lot about, other than like, she either gets on the train or she doesn't, and it follows that character back and forth. And I just thought, what a neat idea.
Basically concept, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this book is cool.
Yeah.
I
feel so far behind.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm close to like, oh, this is a great jumping off point. Okay. I love this book and it's fun, but like,
the next issue might grab you though.
I don't care.
You might be like, this. Oh, I'm back in.
Yeah, but
they're catalyst.
It's available forever.
Yeah.
After this 12-issue kind of like experiment that's lasted for the better part of 2024. Yeah,
you had your full.
I think I've had my full. The Massiverse is kind of, it's not petering, but I think it's at a natural closing point. No, closing point, not saturation.
Because there are a lot of other. That's the other thing we didn't mention.
Only one.
Oh, is there? Well, there was like, okay, so Radiant Black, there was Rogue Sun, there was Radiant Pink, Radiant blah,
Radiant
blah,
Pink
blah,
and
blah.
Radiant Red were only 5-issue miniseries, so that's not so bad. Rogue Sun is is an ongoing. No One was 10 issues, and then this. There's also Cowl, but that's not really in continuity. That's like that's the comic that they read in this universe,
which is still cool.
Yeah. The only one that's an ongoing is Rogue Sun. Everything else is over. So that's why I'm saying it feels like a natural assess your stack kind of moment, and then maybe revisit later. But the fact that there is a nice a nice break until February 2025 is pretty nice. That's a nice 4 months off of like, okay, guys, get ahead of schedule, because if you want to tell stories that are this complex, it cannot be 4 months late. Yeah. Because it's not even because like, oh, do your job. It's more like, this is really complicated.
And it's hard to keep in my brain.
Yeah, basically.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it? We did it?
That's it. What are you looking
forward to? I'll tell you, Batman and Robin Year One, as well as Ice Cream Man, as well as, you know what? Side note.
What?
I have been reading. You and I loved.
I'm so proud of
the Rainbow. You and I have been enjoying the Rainbow Rowell She-Hulk run that just ended.
Yeah.
So I went back and I grabbed all the trade paperbacks for her Runaways.
Oh, it's awesome.
It is just as delightful as She-Hulk.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn good.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, I'm 4 trades in. I have to read 5 and 6.
Yeah, I'm on 5 now.
Yeah.
Man, what a great series. She's just so charming.
She's phenomenal. Absolutely. And why doesn't Runaways have a second and third omnibus?
Right.
So like we had the Brian K. Vaughan stuff that was all collected in omnibus and hardcovers.
Great stuff.
There's the
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
He only did 6 issues.
Which also kind of sucked.
They were fine. It was like
even back in the day, I was like, oh, Joss. That was back when I liked him.
Our expectations are, I mean, I still like his work. I don't like him. Our expectations were a little. I want to reread that because I think it's an expectations thing. Okay. Because we were reading fucking Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah, which was awesome.
And then he does like a little quaint time travel with the Runaways. And it's like, oh, okay. And I forgot who the artist was too. It was just. fine. Yeah. But then Terry Moore did
Oh my
a
God,
run.
that's right.
And
Terry
someone else did a run. Like, you could easily collect all of that into another. And then a third volume of all of the dope Rainbow Rowell stuff.
Yeah, man.
Like, they need to...
The best it's been since the Brian K. Vaughan stuff.
Agree.
Yeah. The relationship stuff is so good.
It's, honestly, it's just as good.
Yeah. I agree.
It's like, it's not that it's not its best it's been since. It has recaptured how good it was.
Yeah. You know what? I'm in.
Because it's focused on the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
All right.
I'm looking forward to effing Jenny Sparks and Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that one yet. Yep. Ultimate Spider-Man 2.
Because you hate it.
That's fine. I had a customer come in who actually I know off of Twitter, and he did the thing where he's like looking for Spider-Man. He's like, amazing Spider-Man, staying away from that one. I'm like, but it's good. Why? He's like, well, you're the only person. I'm like, no, I'm the only person on the internet who likes it.
Yeah.
The internet hates it. Everyone in my shop loves it.
I think that's the problem with these platforms. Everyone, a minority becomes a majority just because they're louder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so silly.
I mean, it's fine if you don't like it.
But it's an incredibly well-selling book. You're telling me that that's all hate readers?
Yeah.
No, that's just normies who enjoy their book and aren't online hate reading everything and bitching about it. Yeah.
Although it was cool to have someone come in and like be like, oh, we know each other on Twitter. Yeah.
Ooh, I want to take this opportunity on a hot mic to talk about that I actually just finished JMS's run
of Amazing Spider-Man.
Which ended with One More Day. And we can talk about this further.
Uh-oh.
It's really not that bad.
Hot take on a hot mic?
It's not that bad.
Wait, One More Day?
One More Day is not that bad.
Okay. Well, especially, we were talking about it. You had just come off of Sins Remembered.
Original Sins Remembered.
Whatever that was.
Sins Past. Something like that.
Yeah, that awful whatever
Basically,
it was.
Gwen Stacy having Norman Osborn's children on the sly and no one talking about it for a decade.
Yeah, and Mary Jane keeping it a secret.
Yeah,
just
because
so
I didn't
bad.
want to betray. I'm like, yo.
Yeah. Pete has kids?
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. His girlfriend had kids?
Yeah, the first love of your life had secret children with a man that's been trying to kill you since you were 15.
Kind of important.
Maybe tell him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, compared to that, it's a goddamn masterpiece.
I haven't revisited it since it was in issues.
It holds up better than. There's a reason why it's so best. It still sells and it's so selling. Like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like people just impose their hate for what transpired on it, and that's it. But
the fallout
as a 4-issue story,
not bad.
It's actually pretty tight and pretty strong.
I do maintain that I think that the first half of that run is near perfect, and then the last half is not as good.
First half is near perfect. I actually did kind of like the other. You could tell in hindsight that for about 25 issues they were just doing all the status quo changes, knowing that they're going away.
Yeah.
So they made him basically a mutant with the totems, and they revealed his identity.
Stabby things coming out of his wrists.
They went hard, knowing that it's all going to go away.
Reset. Yeah.
And reading it in that context is like, this is actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember at the time being like, oh, they really got some chutzpah. No, they don't. No, they just
they just have a golden parachute. Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
This week on the show.
Oh, we're gonna
live stream.
We're gonna rank Stephen King movies.
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna do a full on bracket. It's gonna take too long, and we're gonna love every second of it.
Yeah. So join us Wednesday night, 8:00 live stream on Twitch and YouTube.
Afterwards. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Just make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
All right. Thanks so much, and we'll talk at you later.
Your eyes make a signal back, and the feeling goes on and 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 on. Let's go lose track of time.
Thank you for listening to the CultPop Network, home to podcasts, live shows, and a whole lot of fun stuff for every flavor of fan. Follow us wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to join us live every Wednesday night at youtube.com/CultPopGo at 8 p.m. Eastern. While you're there, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll know when we drop new Thunder Rounds and episodes of Fresh Floppies, a spoiler-free show about single-issue comics released each week. Until then, we'll talk at you later.